Good evening. Welcome to the Auburn Board of Health meeting. Today is Monday, June 3rd, 2013, and it is 6:35 p.m. So first, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Secondly, at this time, if everybody's had a chance to review the agenda, if there are any items we'd like to add or remove.
I would like to introduce a staff person today.
Okay.
And I would also like to, the second hearing, 25 Tinker Hill Road.
Yes.
I'd like to table that. My fault, I didn't get a notification out to them that we were going to have this today, so
Okay.
I didn't give them opportunity to be represented.
Are we? Is that a time requirement that we're going to need to meet quickly on, or is that you're going to? Talk
I don't
to
know.
them?
I will talk with them. My intent will be to try to schedule our meetings monthly rather than twice a month.
Okay.
But if this has to be heard sooner rather than later, we'll hold an event.
All right. Sounds good. Anybody else have any items they'd like to remove, add or move around? Usually we get to the middle of the meeting and Andy's going, let's move that one to the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you good
But
right
don't
now?
worry about that in the middle of the meeting.
Okay. Okay, we have a bill schedule. All right. Bill schedule. I don't want to know. Duct tape. Nursing services for Cheryl for 2 months.
What do we get duct tape for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was trying to take back for a minute.
And then, we got the bond book? Well, we don't get it, but it's done.
It was turned in last year. The bond book that we bought the new one for was for, she needs a replacement for this year.
This is 2012. Well, I'm just saying, I saw the,
Yep.
and we got some quarantines in there, and FedEx charges. No,
So
no meetings this month? No professional, you guys didn't go to any,
Any what?
you didn't go to any trainings this month?
Did not.
Okay. So we have a reimbursement to Wayne Bloomquist. We have 2 months for Cheryl Lewinsky, Megan Pike, who is the doing the animal control,
Animal inspection.
animal inspections, and FedEx. All right.
We never received bills from Auburn District nurses at all. I have to call them when they have to send their bill in.
Okay. When was the last time we received a bill? And it's been a couple months, or just?
They still owe one for 2012, and they owe one.
We owe one for 2012, FY?
They owe one.
They want you, they.
Oh, they
they
owe you to
owe
a
us.
slip.
A bill.
But for last fiscal year?
No,
Okay.
Oh, like December
The current
2012.
fiscal year.
Current fiscal
Okay.
year.
everything is this current fiscal year. I mean, the money's already there. It's already
Okay.
been approved.
Okay, just we're waiting for the bill.
Covered. We're just waiting for the bill.
Okay. At this time, if there's no question, I'll take a motion to accept.
I make that motion.
Second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
What
Okay.
did Mr. Notable?
2-0 to accept the bill schedule. We can sign it. Hey, Steve. No worries, no worries.
Well, Steve.
Okay. Next was approval of minutes. We had, I think it was 2 sets of minutes in the packet.
Should have been one set of minutes. in the
One set
packet.
of minutes. Well, just big set of minutes.
It was 3 pages. I felt proud of us.
All right. Did any of the members see anything that needs to be changed, or was anything omitted?
That was the April 8th meeting, right?
Yes, April. Yeah. Well, I can't even read. Yeah, April 8th. So if there's no omittance or nothing needing to be added, I will take a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 to approve the minutes of 4/8/2013. Okay, so there were no times for the hearings.
Nope.
Okay, so we're just waiting for someone to come in then.
No, the second one, I told her I would represent her on this because it seemed to me to be straightforward.
Okay.
If I'm in error on that, please let me know. and
All right.
we'll,
Then at this point, I would like to open the hearing for 42 Elbridge Road, Auburn, Mass. we have a request, well, actually, there was a request for a trash abatement. And, Andy, so you can, start with your side and then go to her side.
42 Elbridge Road initially requested a small toter. The and the only reason I'm bringing this before the board, I know the board gave me authorization to do no-brainers.
Yep.
But this one wasn't a no-brainer on the town side. It's still a no-brainer, but it's kind of on the Allied side. They delivered the wrong bucket.
Okay.
So we've been charging for a 96, but her original request was for the smaller total, which is 78. So she is looking for the difference between the 78 and the 96. And again, not her fault. She put in the right request and everything. The company that delivers the toters.
So
Just
she
hit up
requested
the
a small and they sent her a large?
Mhm.
All right, it's written backwards here. It said requested a large, received a small.
Oh, sorry, it is written backwards.
Okay.
So she's looking for the difference of $14.
Okay.
So she wanted a small.
She wanted a
She
small.
has a small, but she's being billed for
She
the large.
got the large. She was given large, but she originally requested the small.
Yeah,
So
it's backwards.
even though she's had the large,
Okay.
All right.
And are they gonna switch it out with a small?
she's going to cancel it at the end of this. Her husband is in the trash removal business, or her boyfriend, and so she's just going to work through him. So at the end of June, she'll be putting in a alternative disposal request.
If there's no more information, I need to close the evidentiary part of the hearing. Do I have a motion?
Can I have a motion?
Second?
Second.
Okay, it has to be a vote to close the evidentiary part. So Marion, how do you vote?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Ray is aye, so 3-0 to close the evidentiary. Now it's time for any comments or concerns. Marion?
No?
Oh, Steve? Any,
Oh.
Take her trash.
any?
Can we go backwards? I was wrong. She requested a large, she got a small, she got charged for a large.
Okay.
But she's had a small all this time. I'm sorry, I was backwards, you're right.
Yeah, that's why
So
I
she
questioned.
wants the reimbursement for the,
Right, because she's had a small
Right.
all this time.
that's what I thought.
My brain was 2 steps ahead of
So
us.
she wrote it right, you...
I-
Okay, that's fine.
I'm really good at screwing what people want up.
that's right. So,
And the year goes, the billing cycle goes,
It's a 6-month billing cycle.
6-month billing.
So if you take one day of the billing cycle, you get it all. It goes from January to July, and then July to January. So if you have trash service on January 4th, you have it until June 31st or June 30th.
So you have to pay.
You have to pay. It's a subscription, not a monthly fee. It's a 6-month subscription.
but she was told, oh, when they have one available, they'll give her one, and then they never gave her one.
Right.
So she probably... Because at first I was going to ask, why'd she wait till May? But then when I read that, they just never got back to her about giving her a...
Yep. So she's paid for a large, but she's had service of a small all this time.
Yeah. So she had to either jam stuff in there or buy a blue bag.
Or recycle responsibly, which she has.
What she has.
Is there any plan to exchange the small for a large?
What will happen is she's going to put in a, this is according to what I talked to her about. She is going to put in a request or an alternative disposal form, which means she's not going to use the service anymore. At that point, Allied will take both barrels away,
Both?
The recycling.
the recycling
Oh,
and
I see.
the...
Any comments or concerns?
But she won't get any reimbursement.
If this board today votes to, if this board recognizes that she was paying for a large service and getting a small service, then she'll get the reimbursement of the difference, which is a $14 reimbursement.
It's only $14?
The small total has been $78 up until the end of this month, and the large total is $96 for the 6-month block. So there's a difference of $14 from a large total to a small total.
For total?
Total, yes.
It's
I'll move the question.
yeah, it's $18. Your math is off.
I'm not having a good day, all right?
How much is it?
It's 18.
Yeah, I thought
I'm not having a good day.
I didn't want to say anything, but you know why not? It's
Feel free, I
Andy.
said 14 seven
Yeah,
times, so.
it's 18. But okay. So do we have a? Is there a motion? Does anybody have any comments to make on this? Any discussion?
We'll make a motion that we refund the difference of what was
$18.
provided versus what was billed.
Okay,
So she was provided with a small but billed for a large.
I agree.
so is that a second?
Second?
All right, it is a roll call vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Marion?
Yes.
Ray is yes.
We'll look at it.
So there will be a,
Motion,
done.
78 to 96 is $18.
Yes.
Does the board want me to sign this?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So the application for local upgrade is a moot point right now?
Yep. You don't need it.
That's-
Yes,
okay.
because
Until you,
failure on our part
Okay.
to notify them.
that's fine.
The second hearing,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
what's today's date? June 3.
Third.
Can't wait to get to this part. All right, old business. Programs, goals, and objectives. How do you want to start?
Right from the top and work our way down.
Go right ahead. Programs is first, and grants.
Okay, programs, grants. We applied to the state for a mini grant to enhance our Sharps collection program. That mini grant was granted, we received the check, and Paula, you got that deposited to the revolving account.
I'm waiting for the number from Ed.
Okay. At town meeting, we requested a revolving account for our Sharps collection program. Purpose of this revolving account is going to be to purchase disposal boxes for people to take home, put their needles in, come back and put in the bin. The plan is to sell these boxes essentially for what we will have into them. So we'll be able to maintain a turnover of boxes. As people buy them, we can buy new ones. The boxes will be similar to these on the board. This is a 1 quart box. It's $2.25 for each box. It can hold up to 30 syringes. I think that's kind of restrictive. That would cause somebody to have to buy one of these boxes every month, probably. Actually, in some cases,
Every 2
every
weeks.
2 weeks.
If they have to take 2 a day.
Option B, which I think is probably better. This is a 2.2 quart. Looks the same. Essentially, we can get 60 of them for $225. That is, I did the math. I did it on paper, so I did it right. I just don't happen to have it. That's $3.70, $3.78 a piece. Allowing a little bit of extra money from the $500, I would utilize to, one, make a sticker for the box that basically says, please get replacement disposal boxes at the office of the Board of Health, and probably be able to print up a bunch of flyers that we can put on the counter at CVS. As you know, CVS is where we collect these boxes. And basically the flyers will restate what the law is, state that compliant boxes are available at the Board of Health, and put in some other beneficial facts. But the main purpose will be to let the people know that the boxes are purchasable at the Board of Health.
So they'll have to pay for it.
We will have to pay for the box.
They will?
They will, because we're gonna buy them and sell them to the people for essentially what we're gonna probably be about a quarter more than what we buy them for, to cover administrative costs and stuff like that. But so we'll be I envision we'll be buying them for approximately $3.77 and selling them for $4 a box. That will cover the administrative operation. That'll cover any photocopying we need, any billing charges we get.
They're gonna
Shipping.
love that.
I just think we have to. I don't plan on becoming a heavy and chasing people who don't use the boxes, but I think we need to, if the law says they got to be in the boxes, we need to give them the ability to do it. And if you go to CVS or you go to Walgreens or any pharmacy, I can't find these boxes. These boxes are anywhere from $32 to $50 because it's a mail-in program. You can't buy the box just to bring home and dispose of somewhere else. Most of them are the box plus the postage to mail the box to the disposal site. So I think we need to offer it somewhere. I asked CVS to carry them, and it's a huge corporate issue. They got to go all the way up the corporate ladder. So I think we at least have to offer them to the people. So my plan is to buy the boxes and buy the advertisement with the $500, and then try to track a little bit, you know, get a look in the box when they empty it so I can see are the boxes actually being used. And that way I can report back to the state the success or
And
non-success
then
of
they
the
bring
grant.
it to CVS or they bring it to the fire department?
No, they bring it to CVS. We have a drop box at CVS. CVS has graciously partnered with us,
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Casella is paying for disposal through a third party. They have a crime scene cleanup company that takes it for us. So, excellent example of community partnerships. So I'm very glad that that's working out. I put the MEMA grant on there just to let the board know that I have finally completed the closeout of that, and that was a $4,400 grant that we used to outfit the trailer and buy some emergency preparedness equipment. And I just submitted the closeout report on Tuesday of last week. So that one is done. If I can, I would like to step out of order because I have Ryan here, who, Ryan is, and I'm not gonna remember your school, but
Western Carolina University.
somewhere in the South, no.
Yeah, right.
Ryan and I have been corresponding for a couple months now. I said that I would find a intern to take on the health assessment for the town. Get us a good finished product. Ryan's been sitting in the office for about a week, developing an outline, developing a plan, reaching out to the community, going out and doing some interviews. He's got a really good, strong launch. I just wanted to introduce Ryan. Ryan, we got Marion, Ray, and Steve. Ray's the chair, Marion's the vice chair, and Steve is a member, Board of Health. They are the ones that dictate our direction and our policy, and we enforce it. I just wanted to introduce Ryan to the board, let him know
Hello,
that,
Ryan.
Welcome.
Welcome.
and hopefully we will have a written health assessment by the end of this summer.
good.
Summer. Yeah, I was gonna say.
That'd be good.
That'd be nice.
And it's key because that will roll right into the second grant we have, which is going to be community involvement, and I think we need to know what the community should be involved in
Exactly.
based on a health assessment. So, Ryan,
Excellent.
thanks for coming. You can hang out here and enjoy the ambiance, or take off if you wish. I know you got a life outside of this place too. So,
Bruins game.
Exactly. All right. Tobacco update. Dum
we-
dum dum.
We had a tobacco youth access. I believe we already made you aware of it. We had two sales.
Yep.
Just wanted to keep it on the radar because we did issue tickets on the two sales, $100 tickets. Now both tickets paid.
One ticket has been paid. We're still waiting on the other. We have not come to the deadline. We have still about another week. So we are waiting on that. We've also reached out to WRTCC, the Worcester Regional Tobacco Collaborative, and as you have approved past meetings, they're going to do another round of checks, and we're hoping that we do better this time around. We have a lot of education out there that we're trying to push, and as part of when I go in to do my compliance checks for food, I remind all the establishments about the proper carding and so forth for any youths, anybody that looks 30 and under. So that's something that is done routinely.
Very specifically, Darlene alluded to another full inspection of tobacco establishments. That will be in the first quarter of the next fiscal year. But more specifically than that, we have asked the Tobacco Collaborative to follow up with these two that did the sales. We issued the tickets, so they know they failed the compliance check. We issued the tickets, so they know they've been penalized for the compliance check. We wanted in short order these two establishments in particular to get another inspection to see if they are going to take it to heart or Are they gonna be frivolous about it? So I've asked Karen to schedule a re-inspection on these two establishments sooner rather than later. Again, with the intent of intentional failure to follow the laws. We're not trying to trick these people. We're not sending a 18-year-old kid in that looks like, a 15-year-old kid that looks like he's 27. I specifically am asking her to, send somebody in who's,
Looks their age.
yeah. So, hopefully, they'll take a lesson from the $100 ticket. As you know, we have a sliding scale of penalties beyond that, and we'll exercise it.
Okay. Is that all for tobacco?
That is all for tobacco at the moment.
All right. Flu clinic 2013, no update?
No updates. On the last discussion, we just talked about flu vaccine, and we're just going to wait until we see what the situation comes in.
Okay.
Are you gonna check into the cost and availability of extra doses?
The cost is approximately $10 a dose, market value, and availability is 24 hours. We should be able to get a shipment. So, and as long as that doesn't change, we'll stand by that.
If I recall, our last discussion was in regards to how many doses we should buy in advance. Is there a cost savings to buy doses in advance as opposed to?
To pre-order, I didn't check into that. I can.
Okay.
I'll also check into cost savings for quantity, although I don't think there is.
I'm thinking more in terms of if there's a cost savings in advance, then we need to consider that in how
Definitely.
many doses we're gonna order.
So cost savings for early order and cost savings for bulk order. I can't imagine it would be for bulk order. but-
No, I don't think so. All right. Goals and objectives, the food code.
I think we can float through the next couple of topics pretty quick. It's just really, the only update I have for the food code is that there's no update. I got a request from Hennigan to, because the code says that we're gonna replace section 9 and one other section, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. I got a request from him for our total codes, so that he can see what sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put a call into him last week on Thursday, and I spoke to the secretary and asked if there was any progress. She took the notes down, but she hasn't gotten back to me on that yet.
All right.
So we are still awaiting him. As soon as we get that back, I will bring it to the board, and any comments he have, we can take a look at, and thereafter we can schedule a hearing on adopting the code.
Okay. Drug take back.
Drug take back, basically the same situation. I have contacted, I can't remember if it was before or after the last meeting, we got a letter from the DEA basically saying that we'd have to name an officer responsible. Did I mention that at the last meeting?
I don't remember
All right, we have to name one responsible officer. I sent that back to Mark Maas. Right now it seems like Andy Slukas may take the responsibility.
Yep.
And that way he can designate, or one of the two officers that is assisting us in this could do it. The other thing we had to find out in order to launch this was where can we get rid of it. I put 2 calls into Wheeler Brader. They're not calling me back.
Okay.
So I've got to find out some back door to get in there, or some. I'm dialing the number, getting into the menu, and hitting 0, and that poor woman whose message I get, she's suffering my angst. But
Yeah. What about have you already reached out to? I know Casellas does the shops for us. Is there anything they can do on any of that? Do they have any?
I can actually probably reach out to Allied
Yeah.
rather than Casella.
Oh yeah, because Casella.
And Allied, I don't know if they can do anything on disposal because we don't want to release the.
Exactly, but they may, because I know because Casella's already dealing with sharps and everything like that. They may have a contact that you could get a hold of too. I'm just saying, using them, they may know somebody. If we can't get a hold of Wheeler Brader, they may actually have someone at Wheeler Brader that they know does it, and they may have a contact for you.
It just clicked while we're discussing it, but Allied also may give me a contact with an extension line at Wheeler.
Wheeler Brader, because
So-
they're doing business with them on a daily basis, so they may have some insight.
You'd think that we would having a major 15-year contract with them, but
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, at least they're stalled, but they're kind of going in the right direction.
we have a path. We just got to get the path open to us
Okay.
on both of them.
At least they're not going backwards.
Correct. And then no, I'll leave that. Never mind.
All right.
I'll bring that up later.
Emergency planning.
Emergency planning. We have the funding for next year has been promised to us. It's approximately $66,000 than we had, I mean $69,000 less than we have this year. Essentially a 9-ish% decrease. FY13 we had $724,568. FY14 we have $661,517.
Okay.
So essentially almost a $70,000 drop.
Okay.
Not too much stress with that because we always end up with a ridiculous spending frenzy at the end of the year anyhow. I am sitting on the executive committee again. I will be on the steering committee, and I'm also on the EAT committee. EAT is education, acquisitions, and training. So we are the ones responsible for recommending purchases and what trainings we can go to. As a member of the EAT, I am leaning towards trying to redirect some of our money more into resources than toys. We've all had an opportunity to buy the computers, the cell phones, the tangible items to do emergency planning. I think where we're lacking right now is one, the goals and objectives, and two, human resources. When this event hits, everybody's going to be scrambling for people. We need to, in my opinion, get a huge recruitment and try to get volunteers who are going to be available, because we're talking 74 towns. If we have 100 volunteers, that is going to be eaten very quickly by the Gardners, Fitchburgs, Franklins, Worcesters, Southbridge, Sturb.
But we had talked in the past about kind of not reworking the model, but kind of having our own MRC, our own Auburn volunteers. We had talked about that in the past, and I don't think we've really gotten too far on that.
We have made a huge leap in one direction in that we have broken the MRC down. It used to be, it's still the Worcester Regional MRC.
Yeah.
All Central Mass is one MRC, but we've broken it into divisions. So we have a person who's going to be sitting in Sturbridge who's going to concentrate from Ware to Auburn. And that person is going to concentrate on recruitment in our area rather than recruitment across the whole region. So I think we'll be better represented. But having said that, I also believe that we're going to need financing to keep interest up, to keep recruitment up. So I'm going to be, usually the EAT committee is granted like $250,000. I'm going to be pushing to redirect some of that more into the MRC subdivision or MRC subcommittee and the strategic planning subcommittee. Reason I'm going to go for the strategic planning is the goals and objectives for the, I'm almost getting better with this thing. BT2 deliverables. As part of this money, and I don't know if you'll see, there's a screen right behind
I
you.
need this one.
Actually, this is the wrong one. Let me.
Yeah, it was the third one down. It said goals and objectives 2014. No, that's not the one you wanted. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. This is a list of the deliverables. This is the first list of the deliverables, so it's still not in English. All right, and I have a copy of this if anybody wants it. I highlighted some things that, with my not highlighted, but made in red, some things that, with my interpretation, seems like we really get into community assistance. They want, if you look at the red, engage the whole community, build community partnerships. These are the goals that the state is setting for the region. Build community partnerships. Throughout the whole document, it's talking about build community partnerships. I think we are not well on our way, but sitting in the right position to launch this. This board, we've discussed in the past, we have a $1,000 grant from Common Pathways that we've kind of been sitting on, waiting for, and we'll dump all this responsibility on Ryan now.
That's what he's there for.
Waiting for his product. so that we can take that to some community partners and start a, I don't know, Steve, you probably remember it, the consortium. We want to start something like that because we're kind of running blind. Not, I don't want to say running blind. We're putting good ideas out there based on what we think this town needs. I think we need more community input so that we can address what the town thinks the town needs. You know, so we're.
Is it gonna be based on that criteria, those kinds of outlines?
It's going to be based on, we're gonna call in some of the community partners. We're gonna call in some of the health people, probably Dr. DeLacy and
Did they
Reliant
have a
and
copy
Child
of this?
Health. No, this is for the region. This is for the regional coalition to accept money. We get that $600,000. To accept that money, we have to agree to attempt to meet these goals.
Do we have a copy of it?
I have a copy that I can make available to you, yes.
Good.
I actually was just reviewing this today.
Okay.
So I will definitely make it available to you. I would prefer to wait about 2 weeks. Reason being,
I'll wait.
we're looking at it and trying to get it into English so that even we can understand it. Some of these, as I'm reading through some of these, I'm like, I think this is what this means, but. So we've got the coalition, the host agency, working on watering it down and making it English. And that's what I'd like to present as something for us to discuss. But
Right.
we are prepared once we get Ryan's, and it's going to be in August, once we get Ryan's health assessment, prepared to take that to the medical fields out there, the churches out there, the social groups out there, the citizens out there, and try to form a group of maybe 8 to 12, 13 people who can discuss some of the things in the health assessment, discuss some of the things not in the health assessment, and as a group, you know, contribute what they can, try to take out what they can, and as a group form or create a program for the Board of Health to attack those areas that the community is wary of. So, and
It's a big order,
it's a
Andy.
huge order.
Big order for him, too.
I only retain the best.
I hope so. All right.
Last thing on the emergency preparedness. Approximately 4 weeks ago, we did a tabletop exercise called Outbreak Anarchy. That was a simulated flu, unique flu outbreak coming out of a province in China and slowly spreading across the world. It caused us to look at our EDS plans and see if they really work. There is a follow-up to that in 3 weeks on June 27th. I'm sorry, almost 4 weeks, and that will be to demobilize. Once we have all of these things in place and we're running 100%, we need to get a plan to step back and wind down and diffuse. And the second half of this exercise is going to be a tabletop in Hopedale again, June 27th in Hopedale at the Country Club in Hopedale. Don't get excited, the food's not that good. I mean, I'm sure they serve good food, but what they serve us is sandwich foods. But it's going to be to demobilize. It's the second half of the operation. From thereafter, we're going to try to do some sort of exercise at least once a year through the coalition. And it'll be a regional exercise in all cases. So I will keep you updated on that. I will be signing up for that next week.
Okay. All right. New business. We have directors' issues. Under that, we have correspondence. Did anybody have any questions or concerns on what we received in our packets?
We are doing a ton by email, so there's a lot that doesn't there's a lot that doesn't get put down on paper. The times kind of dictate. So if there's any issues that you're aware of or that you want us to make you more aware of, just let me know. We can actually, if we can get all of the emails, if anybody's interested in receiving it, but I'll tell you, you will be inundated with emails. And it's basically daily operation stuff.
Okay. Any concerns, Andy?
I do not. We have a couple cases that we're just closing out, but they're going smooth right now.
Moving along, animal issues.
Um,
Were there any major?
no, we have reappointed Megan Pike
Yep.
as the animal inspector for the town.
Okay.
Miss Wood, I believe, is on a rotating, I don't think we have to reappoint her every year. But I asked Julie to reappoint Megan. Megan is, actually, we don't appoint her. Megan is recommended to the state, and the state appoints her.
Okay.
The Department of
Agricultural
Department of Agriculture
Resources.
appoints animal inspectors at the recommendation of the towns.
Okay. Solid waste.
A little bit to cover on solid waste. The solid waste committee met a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and discussed revenue versus savings compared to what the program costs. Curbside recycling, curbside collection. The town has been losing in the range of $117,000 a year that the town is supplementing beyond the fees. I sat down with the committee. Darlene is the board's representative to that committee. We had a lengthy discussion on our options on potential savings, potential additional fees, and a recommendation was made to the Board of Selectmen that the fees go up, the curbside collection fees go up approximately 12%. Logic behind that is that we haven't had a fee raise since 2004, so essentially 10 years of frozen fees. During that time, significant work has been done to reduce the tonnage through further recycling efforts, but that seems to have capped. So up until now, that has, I won't say successfully because we're running 100,000 behind, but that has somewhat kept up with the increases in the hauling and in the wheelabrators increases. We seem to have capped off in the recycling, and until we find a way to start increasing that again, we have to make the fees equal the costs.
Yep.
So recommendations are, single-family small toter is going up to $88. Single-family large toter is going up to $108. This is every 6 months, so double it for the year. Essentially, it's going up $20 for the small toter, and it's going up approximately $24 for the large toter.
Mm.
78
To 88.
76 to 88, right?
So what is it for the smaller one?
Small one's gonna be $88,
Yeah.
so it's going up.
Yeah, it was either 76 or 78.
76.
So it's $12 on that one.
76.
And then 96 or
108
90.
is $12, so it's
Yeah,
going up.
hold on.
Okay. I would ask the board to consider single family with an office is $148. A two family is $148. A three family is $189. And a four family is $229. And I did not know these discrepancies, but it seems to me if our goal is to keep trash down, to increase recycling, and we're giving a two family 2 toters, why are we not charging twice the price? Why are we giving a reduced scale for the more trash they produce? I just would like the board to consider possibly giving a mission to the Solid Waste Committee to considering looking at those fees and equalizing them with the single families. Basically, if you have a 2 family, you should be paying $216 a month, a week.
6 month period.
6 month period, yes. I don't understand where the sliding scale came from, but
Is that for the 2 totes? The large one and the small one? The
No,
smaller one?
a-
One for trash and one for recycles, right?
correct. But now a 2 family would get 2 for trash and 2 for recycling. So why aren't they paying twice as much? They're producing
Twice as much.
So we would only
effectively.
be paying that, for instance, we would only be paying $108. We just
$108
went
every 6
single
months.
family
Yep,
for the two.
for one toter. If you want it, plus any trash you have, well, for 2 toters, 1 trash toter, 1 recycling toter.
So it's just one price.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, and then the bag fees are going from $1 to $1.50 if you want to have extra trash outside your toter.
Yeah.
That was voted to go
I
up.
don't even fill my toter.
I
I don't
Since
either.
I started
I don't
doing
either.
recycling,
I'm gonna get a
I have like
smaller
1
one.
bag a week.
effectively, do you have
Hey,
a smaller
I'll
toter?
have space for
I have a
you.
large one. Both
Would
are
you-
large.
Would you like the smaller toter?
All right.
I'll get you a form, and
Okay.
the forms can be gotten from the assessor's office.
Oh.
But I'll make sure I grab you a form, and
Yeah.
we'll get you on the smaller toter. If you can fit your trash in a small toter, why not?
Are they
Think-
doing
I-
anything about textile recycling, like clothes and stuff?
We are looking at a program.
That's when I was gonna be at the schools or
Because
something.
that's what I use my blue bags for, because I get rid of a lot of textile
Okay.
stuff.
Textiles first should not go in the trash. Torn textiles, torn cloth, stained cloth, as long as it's clean, throw it in a Catholic Charities bin, throw it in a Hope bin, throw it in the Green Planet bin.
Oh,
I cut the sleeves off my shirts when I'm
Jeez.
working outdoors.
'Cause
The
you're so
sleeves.
huge.
This, huh? like to flex the guns. It's hot out there. So anyhow, the sleeves, I don't throw them away. I throw them in a bag.
Oh.
Because rags, they'll make shop rags out of them. They'll make padding out of them for carpets. It all gets recycled.
oh.
We have to find a way to educate the people that no
Same
cloth.
like sheets and stuff, they can make rags out
Yes.
of them.
A lot of the recycling goes into carpet padding.
I didn't
So-
know that.
And we are looking at some programs potentially for the schools.
Cool.
But there's some concern that it might conflict with other programs. So that will depend on if the schools want to move in that direction. But we are presenting a couple of programs. So one mission I would like the board to ask the Solid Waste Committee is to look at these 2, 3, and 4 families and decide what we should do with them. Should we keep them on a sliding scale, or should we actually charge them for the number of, or the potential capacity that they have?
Do rental units generate as much trash as a single-family home?
I believe you'll find a rental, for whatever reason, a rental probably generates more. I will further point out, I don't know why we're even in the business of picking up 4-family.
Do we have any?
We have-
a few, but,
We have a couple, I know that we have condo units.
okay.
The issue is, but a condo unit is not in my opinion, a condo unit, each person owns their own,
Yes.
unless one person owns a whole condo and rents all 4 of them out. But
They're not on town pickup.
they are. That's the issue. We will support up to 4 families, and the sanitary code specifically says anything above 3 family, the property owner has to supply trash for.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if we should even stay in the 4-family business. And that should be something that the Solid Waste Committee should look at too.
And then they can send a letter out saying like there's places, I know the ones across on Boyd Street, there's 9 condos, they have their own trash. They have their own trash company that comes in.
Right, they have a dumpster.
No, they don't have a dumpster.
They don't have a dumpster.
They have
What
a
is-
company comes in once a week and picks up their trash. I don't know if they're recycling. I just know that they, I know it's once a week they get picked up over there because when they built in town, that was part of the deal. They, they weren't on trash pickup or anything
Well,
in town.
and if they, I'm not averse to the multifamilies being on town pickup, because by doing that, we can enforce recycling.
Yeah.
And our goal is to maximize recycling.
Yeah.
But I am averse to them not paying their equal share. If it's
Yeah.
3 families with 3
Full
trash toters,
Yeah.
or the capacity,
Should I move into apartments so I can get a cheaper rate on my trash? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
yeah,
Just
and I don't,
Change the language to per residential dwelling unit,
Yeah.
yeah.
be it a single-family house or a
Yeah.
multi-dwelling apartment.
I mean, if you have a landlord, if the landlord is, charging fees for their stuff, we're going to charge you a fee for a trash, then they just run it into the rent if they have to. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a major issue. But if they're generating trash, I don't know why. I didn't know that was a discrepancy.
I learned that only when we started looking at these. Actually, when we were done looking at these, and the Board of Selectmen voted to increase the rates, I was asked specifically, well, what about the 2 families and the 3 families? And I'm like, there's a difference?
Yeah.
And apparently there is. So I would ask, if this board is for it, I will send this to the Solid Waste Committee, ask them to at least look at it, consider why we would do this,
Yep.
and should we undo this,
Yeah, was there a reason
And
in the past that
plan
they did it?
and plan to get the selectmen involved before before next January. Obviously, we can't do it
No.
by this cycle, but I think if we feel there's an error in these, we can straighten it out with the next cycle, which will be, building goes out in December.
How do members feel about that?
Okay,
I'm fine with that, Andy. I mean, take a look at it and see what can be done, and see that might cut some of the deficit too, of that 117,000 or whatever. You know, might be not going to be a lot of it, but it might help every little bit.
Okay.
okay.
Small electronics.
No, let's go second issue with solid waste. I've been, every Monday morning, I take a tour of the parks. We now have the recycle bins out there, sitting right next to the trash bins. I'm very happy to say, I look in the recycle bins and
All recycling.
it's got to be 90% recycling. I mean, you get the styrofoam cups in there because they just fit nice in a hole, but
Yeah.
essentially that it's like 90% recycling. Unfortunately, I look in the trash bucket beside it, and it's 60% recycling. So I think a second boon that we want to at least ask for ideas from the Solid Waste Committee is, now that we have the recycling, and the bins are working, the recycle bins are recycling.
Yep.
How can we get people to recycle more? How can we get
Get
them to
them
not throw it in the
buy-in.
trash can?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the recycle bin is sitting right next to the trash bin, and there's 6 inches of recycling on the bottom of the recycle bin, and there's 6 inches of recycling on the bottom of the trash bin. If we could take that out of the trash, because I don't want parks going through and separating it. That's
No.
not the goal here. If we can get that recycling out of the trash and into the recycling, we're going to significantly cut down on the tonnage again.
Exactly.
Parks recycling.
How are we gonna do it?
That's what he's saying. He's looking for ideas.
Did you say something?
I did.
Oh, please.
Yeah. So the Solid Waste Advisory Committee has been discussing this, of how we can improve recycling. We have in discussion right now about possibly doing better signage, educational signage that we could possibly put on the actual toter, so that when people go to the toter and go to put it in, sometimes people visually will see it and say, oh, okay, geez, I guess they don't recycle styrofoam. You know, let's not put it in this, that'll go in the trash. But a visual reminder at the point of disposal. So we have discussed that. It is something that in the works. Obviously, the budgetary talks and so forth kind of took precedence just because of the time of the year. But that is something that I know Amy has kind of at the top of her list in our next meeting discussions.
That's good.
We also would like to, you know, come fall, obviously we're towards the end of the school year, but come fall, I think doing some educational piece in the schools, because the kids seem to be a huge help. If we educate the kids, they'll say, no, Mom, you can't put that in there, it goes in this bucket. So, you know, trying to work with the schools to, you know, help the behavior of the adults.
I will say that pairing the buckets with a trash bucket is very effective.
Yep.
We have one bucket at the high school that the recycle bin sits alone,
And it's got everything.
and it's got trash in it.
Yeah.
There's-
Because they're not going to walk.
I'm standing here, I can't throw my trash right here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Parks to partner that up with
Another barrel.
another barrel, but that's the only one that had any kind of significant amount of trash. All the other ones were pretty solid, except again for styrofoam cups, pretty solid recycling. Well within the allowed limits of contamination. So
And Darlene, when you guys are talking in solid waste and talking about programs and training, find out if there's anybody looking for the Eagle Scout badge. Get somebody to get one of the Eagle Scouts in town, or one who's going for his badge, to help out with the recycling program. That's huge for them. Community involvement. It'd be great. They
Help
can
them
go in,
getting their
they
badge.
can go in and do teaching and help teach the kids about that and
Nice.
start programs. But we're always, in town, there's always 1 or 2 Eagle Scouts every year, so why not get the Scouts involved?
This
I'll
town
bring
does
that to the
produce
committee.
a large amount of Eagle Scouts.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm very proud
We
of
still
the
have the 2 troops, right?
I believe there's still 2 troops in
53 and
town.
101.
Yep, 53 and 101, yep.
So just a quick phone call to each of the respective scoutmasters.
They're always big on environment, so the
Yeah.
Scouts is huge.
Yeah.
I'll bring that to the committee.
Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Last on solid waste, if I may, we've got 5,000 bills sitting in the assessor's office ready to be mailed out.
Mm-hmm.
This is the commitment for to bill the 5,000 bills, or to commit the $5,000, the 5,000 bills.
Mm-hmm.
If the board, because trash now falls on, solid waste now falls under the Board of Health, in order to do the billing, we need to have the commitment signed.
Okay.
So I believe it needs to be approved.
Do we need to vote on it or not?
I believe the board needs to vote
All right.
because it's an action of the board.
Okay, do we have, I need a motion to sign the 5,007 bills in the amount of $541,000 Do I have a motion?
Are these the bills for what?
Trash.
Trash.
Yeah, so you'll be getting yours in the next 3 weeks.
So a motion to approve would essentially allow the towns to send the bills out.
I'll make it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And she's so excited about making it too.
Is that kind of conflict of interest?
Oh, we're all gonna get them.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
know.
get them
What
anyway.
did you say?
so-
You're all gonna get it? Yeah. No.
So, then it is a vote 3-0 to approve the signing of the bills and mailing them out.
Okay.
All right, Andy, while she's signing, what's short-term recycling program? Is it something that's still? They created a monster.
Heck yeah.
Isn't it fun though?
Look,
Oh yay!
look what Dal taught me to do.
Oh, boy.
He's doing pictures now.
I can do PowerPoint.
All right, April 6th and 13th.
Oh.
Where are we doing it?
We've done it.
We've done
We
it.
did it.
Let me show you what a beast we created. Paula, you can make sure this gets to the assessor tomorrow and make a photocopy for us.
Correct.
Once upon a time, Amy found a flyer that she presented to Darlene and I. Basically said that MetTech Recycling had some grant money, and they were offering a free collection program in the city of Worcester. Amy came to us and said, it doesn't have to be only Worcester. Any other surrounding communities can go to this thing. And Darlene and I, actually Darlene said, why can't we have one? So we batted that around for a couple days. I don't know if the board remembers approving a program for the town of Auburn in
Yeah, it was down there.
early April, late
Town
March,
bar.
early April.
I remember now.
We decided to open it up to, the town we wanted to get rid of all of the electronics we collected in the schools, in the town buildings, in the town hall. So through a generous offer from Casella, we got a roll-off trailer down at the highway yard, and we told just all the town builders, hey, you can get rid of your electronics, your old phones, your computers, anything you have. Bring it down and we'll fill this roll-off and we'll get rid of it. Now, we ran through a weekend and basically a week and a half, and we had the trailer about a third full. And again, Dal suggested why don't we open this up to the town? And so I said, yeah, let's fill this trailer.
Oh yeah. How
So
many trailers did you fill?
we opened it up to the
Funny you
town.
should ask.
We set this flyer on our webpage
Yeah.
and on the TV. This flyer basically says, bring your electronics to us, we'll take them for free.
I was there the first morning.
It wasn't amazingly successful, and we didn't get a feel that we were going to do great, so I did a really numb thing. I did a code red alert to everybody in Auburn.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
What that essentially did is started this. We blew out 2 roll-off trailers, and then, after I did the code red, I forgot to mention, I went on vacation. I said, Dal, we'll fill this trailer and I'll be on vacation, just deal with this, okay? So Dal called me up. and essentially did the equivalent of ripping my head off over the phone, but she was actually very civil about it. She was very sweet about it. But we blew the trailer out of the water. We got a second trailer, we blew the trailer out of the water. Dal, you want to speak a few minutes on just what went on that day?
Sure. So the weekend that we're talking about, beginning of April, and in honor of Earth Day and Earth Awareness, we had the event for Saturday and Sunday. You'll see that this is down at the DPW Highway Yard, where you would pull in for the leaf pile drop-off. You'll see a line of cars. That line of cars went out onto Millbury Street early on in the morning. We quickly were able to kind of have them come through the yard, through the cones. You'll see that the volunteers are stacking the electronics on pallets. We had essentially about 50 pallets to start with. We went through those 50 pallets in less than 2 hours. We had a very generous donation from Home Depot with as many pallets as we needed. We had approximately 100 or so pallets or more. You'll see that one of the DPW staff is carrying the pallets out. Essentially, we had pallets lined all along the front of the garage.
In the
The next
background
one.
here, you can see the first trailer that Casella gave us.
I went in that morning 15 minutes after they opened, and I was like, it's going to be full in 10 minutes.
It was pretty full. So the container that you see in the background was donated by Casella. These, do you see the large size TV?
Yeah.
We had, I can't tell you how many of those size TVs. And if I had $1 for every time that somebody said this TV works, I would be a rich woman. This is another example of the sizes. We had we had several pallets where we could only fit 2 TVs on it because they were so big, the big projection TVs.
And just
So-
to let you know, this TV works.
Yeah. So we actually put the TVs together like a puzzle piece on the pallets. We were able to get all of the pallets piled up. You'll see that that pallet right in the forefront is 2 TVs. So those are the sizes there. Once we got the pallets full, we would essentially shrink wrap or duct tape. That's the duct tape that you had in your bill package. We were able to secure them so that they were pulled together so we would keep people safe while we were moving the pallets. People would essentially pull up. We would take the TVs out or the electronics out of their vehicle, load it on the pallets. Those pallets would then get moved into the garage. It was very important that the company, that's day one.
That is the end of day one.
That's day one.
That was after 2 trailers, right?
The first trailer was already full. We actually had the second trailer on the way. That was day one, and we had approximately, I think, about 60 to 80 pallets there. Continue. It was
How many
pretty
days
wild.
did it go into?
We had 2 days, so Saturday and Sunday. You can go on to the next one. This is what it looked like at the end of day 2.
Oh, Bill loved
Now,
us.
This is the garage from the door.
That was just looking through the doorway of the garage. Now, what you can't see on the left and to the right on the screen is that's all full.
Like the picture
In the
behind,
garage,
the
yes.
picture before it, where Andy has a
Yeah,
picture from the
exactly.
inside out.
It went to the walls.
So we essentially had to move out approximately about half of the vehicles in the DPW garage. And one of the
you love
reasons that we had them inside the garage was for security reasons. It was very important that all of the electronics, all of the computers, all of the CPU units, everything was kept secure. So all the information and personal identification that people dropped off from their computer was kept completely safe. From the time that we accepted it until the time that it got to MedTech, it was all secure. So we're very happy. This
Then what
is.
happened? Did
Excuse
you
me?
have to put them, once they were in the trailers?
So once they went into the
loaded that?
DPW garage, I'm glad you asked. They went from the DPW garage into the 2 roll-off containers that Casella so generously donated. And we still had about 80 or so pallets that we had to move. The DPW staff was able to make those trips to move those electronics over to our community partner in Worcester, Metech Recycling, and they were able to accept it on the loading dock. So this essentially took about a week or so to get all of the electronics over. Now, Metech was the company to accept all the electronics at no cost to the town. And again, in a secure manner, all of these electronics were destroyed, recycled, and all the pieces taken apart. If you can look on that collection total, you'll see the 27, almost 28,000 pounds of televisions. And then it goes down, monitors, computer pieces, printers, faxes, and everything. You name it, we got it. We got the old VHS tapes.
Yeah.
We got VCRs. We got DVD players. We got radios. I mean, but
2 dehumidifiers from my house.
and I mean, essentially, we got. I mean, the bulk of it was those big 1980s TVs.
Yeah.
You know, the big.
Because you can't
big
get rid of them
TVs.
anywhere
Yeah,
else, and they say,
exactly.
"Ooh."
And everybody's got a flat screen now.
Yeah.
This, I'm so proud to tell you, this was the total amount, 46,565 pounds of electronic waste.
It's 23 tons.
23
You got it.
tons of waste.
That was
23
all.
Equal to, if my calculations are correct, somewhere between 17 and 19 Hyundai Elantras.
Every single
The
one of those
equivalent of
pounds
almost 20 automobiles in weight.
was literally hand
Carried.
picked. So it was taken out of the residence vehicle. It was stocked on a pallet. That pallet was completely shrink wrapped and taped together. It was moved into the DPW. It was then taken from DPW, loaded on trailers and containers, and taken to Worcester to be destroyed. It was a hugely successful event. We are so grateful to
Good job.
Metech Recycling, to Casella for providing the containers, and for Home Depot for the pallets they offered. We definitely could not have done it without our community partners and the DPW to move all of that.
It's,
It was a huge savings to the town, approximately, that's a minimum cost of, a conservative cost of over $10,000 it would have cost the town to get rid of the amount of electronics that we supplied to them.
I see a pattern though.
Good job.
Definitely see a pattern, and I think Darlene will. Let's see. Last year at the Household Hazardous Waste Day, somebody had a graduation or something, and then this year we have another big never mind. I'll move on.
So
That's good. I gotta get out.
I think what we're pointing out here is that one of us is really, really intelligent.
No, that's awesome.
That's
great.
it seems like every time I take a day off, I just dump the world on Darlene's shoulder, raised shoulders last year with that hazardous waste day. We've been thanking Casella, Metech, and Home Depot. I
That's
will
awesome.
publicly right now thank Darlene. She just made this thing work that day.
Mhm.
The three, can't say enough for the 3 partners who came to us and helped us out through this. Also can't say enough about DPW. DPW
Yeah,
saved
that's-
us here.
That's half their garage.
This event would have cost the citizens, if they had taken it to MetTech themselves on a non-grant day
Mhm.
and paid to get rid of it, this would have been a $10,000 day for the town, or a $10,000
Over
spree
Oh yeah,
for the town of
definitely.
Auburn, and that's just for MetTech taking it. That's not considering the hauling costs for that Casella gave us. That's not considering the pallets that we've given us. We did this event for less than $800. That money came out of a dedicated fund, the hazardous waste fund, basically to pay some overtime.
For the guys over there.
So the town of Auburn saved well over $9,000 on this
Nice.
in separation.
Good.
guys from the highway yard that were just instrumental in this thing. Equally important is a certificate of recycling. This certificate basically tells us that everything we sent to MetTech was disposed of in a responsible manner, 100% recycling, and any private information on the computers was absolutely destroyed. So anybody who gave us computers that day, they don't have to worry that somebody's got their information out there.
Cool.
This certificate should prove that MetTech did it in a responsible manner. Beyond that, I think the extent of this event, which I don't think Darlene or I, in our worst imagination, thought it was going to go this wild. 46,000 pounds. I think it proves that these events are important.
It proves that Code Red works.
Proves Code Red works, which, I mean, an upside, well, the whole thing's an upside.
Yeah.
But it's good to know Code Red works. It's good to know the message gets out there, because when we have an emergency message, it's going to be good to know that it's going to get out to the people. I think we need to hold more of these events. You
People
see,
kept calling after this one event, oh, I wish I had time enough to do this. You having another one.
now, I will point out that driving around town, there's a sign down at St. Edmund Center that they're
Yeah.
doing a electronic collection event.
Yep.
It's going to cost a couple bucks to get rid of stuff, but if you still have electronics, bring it there. It's charitable.
Exactly.
I know the church up here, the First Congregational, had an event like that 2 years ago. So the events are happening randomly around town. Keep your eyes open for them, but I think
If
the board should consider it.
if some of those places get a hold of us, can we put it on the webpage?
Um,
Can we put it someplace saying, like, under recycling? If someone says, hey, you can always put a note saying,
Yep.
such and such a church is having a recycling day for charity, and this is, there are going to be costs, please call them. That way, if people are listening and seeing stuff,
let me see if it's legal for us to advertise.
it's just kind of a contact. Or even if you don't advertise, if someone says, under recycling, contact this one, this one, this one. If we know they're coming up, we can put them on there, and then they can do it. So it's not
Yeah,
really
I think-
advertising, it's just letting people know. I mean, I understand what you're saying, advertising, because they're making money off of it, but I'd like to just recycle everything.
There is a fear in that, obviously we want to support the churches, we want to support the private industries, the charities,
Yeah.
but we have to be careful, because if we support them, we also have to support the ugly, nasty group out here that
No, I understand,
that
but if
may
they-
not be our morals, you know?
Okay.
We can't say no to them and yes to them. We gotta.
I know, I'm just saying, is it
So,
possible if they
let's-
contact us
I'll
to
see
do
what we
something?
can do and what our limits are.
Just so people know where
Yep.
to turn stuff in.
And this was also a chance for, our solid waste, taking it out of the waste stream
Yep.
to help us with our budget numbers, that deficit that we're talking about. This is a good example to show you that the health department is doing something to affect those numbers.
I have no
That's
doubt
right.
that if we don't offer more of these programs, some of your smaller electronics are going to be in the bottom of the totem.
Oh,
You know, I mean,
They'll get mixed in with the trash.
It's not the proper way to do it. It's not the legal way to do it.
But people need to get out of the house, and that's what they're going to do if there's no event.
If we tell them you can't throw it there, but we don't tell them where they can throw it,
It's going to end up on
they
the
gotta
hillside.
They got to be, So, if we can offer outlets for these DEP waistbands, I think we should.
All right, great job. Moving on, inspections. We have production, nuisance complaints, inspector concerns, and any new establishments.
I want to preempt Darlene with all the June 1st permits. There is one outstanding, and we have already had contact with the person or the group. So there's only one, and it's just milk and cream for June 1st, right? That's the only one that's due.
That's awesome.
We only have one outstanding, and we've been in contact, and we're assured that they're going to be in this week.
And all of our other permits are all caught up then.
Every other permit we're going to be
Absolutely.
sending
That's
out
awesome.
by the end of this week. We'll hopefully start preparing the July 1st. What comes up in July?
Tobacco.
Is that the only one that comes up?
Tobacco will be sent out in the next 2 weeks,
All right.
yeah.
Nice.
So we'll be on top of that, and hopefully July 2nd,
Yeah.
if we don't have, a good confidence that we're gonna see them in, we can start moving forward with late.
No,
issues.
that's great. I'm glad we're not hitting September and saying,
And
oh,
I
this person
didn't-
hasn't done the food permit yet. You know.
And
We're right on it this year, really good
was
this year.
there was only a couple of phone calls made the last week, like 3 days before. And
Yep.
They
That's
came in,
Good.
even the habitual ones that are, will
Good.
wait.
That's, well, we're not, this is what we said at the beginning of the year, or actually last year we said we're not playing around, that everybody has to
Yeah.
pay, everybody's equal, pay your bills. That's good. All right, then
So-
we'll go to Darlene.
So we have had, it's been pretty intense for the past couple of months with food. The production is lower than I want it to be. It's at about 50%. However, I can tell you that we've had all the seasonal places have been inspected. Our mobile trucks, we have several mobile trucks that are seasonal as well. Those have been inspected, and we are working with all of our seasonal places for dairy and so forth. So we have those in the works. We have numerous temporary food permits that I have been working with applicants in the community. This time of year, it doesn't surprise me, a lot of, kind of fun things going on out there. We have been working with a lot of the businesses, a lot of nonprofits, and community organizations that are holding temporary events in the community, fundraisers and so forth. We've done a lot of education with people to see if they needed to actually get permitted. So there's a lot of education back and forth to actually see what they're offering and to determine what type of permit is needed. We have a convenience store just recently changed ownership, so we had a new owner go through the process. We've had a new mobile food that got licensed. So again, almost like a new establishment, going through all the paperwork. We've had 2 proposed food establishments that I've been working with. Those establishments are in the works. They are in the process of submitting plans, going through the DCG, the town department contact. I've been working with those. We also have two establishments that are in the preliminary stages of moving their location. So again, trying to bring them up to speed in a new location. So we've had several food-related activity, in addition to 3 complaint investigations I've done in the past couple of weeks. So those complaint investigations have been, time-consuming, obviously. We additionally had a sewage backup at one of the food establishments that we worked through as well. We have opened up a beach recently. So we have one beach in town that we have successfully opened over the Memorial Day holiday. We also participated in the town-wide cleanup day, again with the Business Chamber of Commerce. We were part of that, which was very successful, in addition to the electronics take-back that you saw. Additionally, we are working with the Auburn Recreation and Culture Department on their summer program camp. So I've been meeting with our director to go over, what the layout of the summer program is going to be, and bringing that forward with education. And lastly, we've had an ongoing court case that we're working with for some housing compliance issues. So we've been pretty busy with that activity. So continue forward with, trying to get those numbers better. It can always be better, and my goal is to stay on it. But there are quite a lot of activity with food and for summertime.
Absolutely expect numbers to take a dip in the summer because just the additional workload that comes in with the programs. So I don't feel that we're off our mark right now.
Okay. Anything else under inspections? Are you guys covered?
I think we're covered.
No, we don't have anything new opening, right?
No, she already went over that.
Just a
Yeah.
She's
change.
working on
Yeah.
some plans.
Alright.
Do either the members need to speak about communicable disease? Are you all set?
Just passed around the report for last month. One disease out there, it's a Lyme disease. So, I did get a request today for the newsletter. If time permits, I will put together a mosquito and tick
Okay.
story for the newsletter and
Excellent.
get that out there, maybe some protection.
Education, great.
Yeah. Very, very brief to the point stuff that people can use.
Okay. Anything else by our team of professionals on that side of the table?
No,
I use that term loosely.
I'm hurt.
Okay, at this point, we need to set our next meeting date. Andy, what are you looking,
Next meeting date. First off,
we don't know if you're
let's
gonna
put a
need,
congratulations out there to Ray. Ray has recently done a career change. He has gone from the service side of food. Ray has gotten himself a job in public health. Unfortunately, for our schedule, we're gonna have to get flexible and readjust our time. Ray doesn't get out of work till 5, and he's got
I can be in town on those days if I plan it right by 5, a little before 5. I can be in town here by 5:30. I can't do the 4:30s anymore, but 5:30 I will push for it if that works for everybody. I don't want everything changing for me, but I'd like to,
Well, every time we have a new board member or we have a major change, we open up the schedule because we have to accommodate the members. And there has to be a time when all the members are accommodated. So we'll work to the convenience of all. I'm not averse to the Monday meetings. If we're gonna move it back to 5:30. Now, Steve, didn't you have a class or something on Monday
I
evenings?
take classes.
I changed that.
He changed his for us.
Hey, I've done it for 4 years. I moved to 4:30.
But that was 7 o'clock anyway, although now it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we started a little late.
Well,
today.
if we can pull off 5:30, you can be here by 5:30. You're
Okay.
confident of that?
I will be here at 5:30. If not, Mary can start the meeting till I get here.
I will recommend that if we, first off, I'm going to recommend that we move back to one meeting a month. I'm finding that our meetings are
Too long.
mostly informative. They're mostly me updating the board of what's going on and then getting a real, a brief, yeah, Andy, can you look into this and look into that? I'm still working at the guidance of the board, but our meetings are not heavily laden with hearings
Policy.
like with hearings like the zoning board or planning board.
Yep.
So I would recommend our meetings be moved to once a month. If they have to start at 5:30 instead of 4:30, I would recommend that we move it off of the even week and maybe go for the first week of the month. Reason being, if we go longer, I don't want to get involved with I don't want to cross the selectmen line.
Yep.
So the recommendation would be that we move it to the first or third Monday.
First or third.
Yep.
Now, are you gonna let us know on that hearing, Tinker Hill Road, if we need to do that one quicker? 'Cause if it's a time constraint, I don't want them waiting for us to meet in July.
I think I'm going to recommend a meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
One, to address this, and two, because we should have a meeting before, just in case there's anything to close out the fiscal year. I don't anticipate it. I think we can do it all internally, but I want to be prepared. So
So we're looking at the 17th.
I would recommend a meeting on the 17th. It will be a brief meeting. Hopefully, a brief update on what's going on. Hopefully, I'll have information back from
On
Hennigan
the 17th
of
June.
June. Only
At
because
what
I have
time?
this Tinker Hill that I don't want.
and we need to all come?
We need a majority to make the decisions on
At what time?
5:30, right?
30.
The 17th, I'm working.
Is it a short meeting or a long meeting?
I
I wanna be
anticipate a short
prepared.
one.
Steve can't make it.
Steve can't make it, so right now we're down
Unless
to
you want to have the meeting after 8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, say that again?
After 8 p.m., I can be here. at-
No.
I can be here before 8 a.m.
All right, you guys, you can have it without me.
All right, well, what works for you that week? Would we have to move it to the Tuesday? If you can't make it on Monday, 'cause he's working that evening. Because I know you want to have it definitely before the...
I want to have it before July.
Yeah.
We
our
can,
fiscal
we
year
can go to
ends.
the 4th. We can go to the 4th because I can keep it a short meeting and stay out of the selectmen.
Mm-hmm.
Stay out of the selectmen's way.
Help somebody.
So we can go to the 4th at 5, the 4th, the 24th of June.
It's, sorry, it's.
That'll be the 4th
Okay.
I made a
Monday.
mistake, Kelly, hold on.
Yeah.
Say hi to Kelly for me.
Kelly from Indy.
Alright.
4th Monday, 5:30, and then from that point on, we can schedule
That's fine. However you guys want
once
to
a
do
month
it.
from there forth.
That's
We're in
fine.
special circumstances right now because of the fiscal year closeout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't anticipate anything, but I don't want to close the door.
No.
No, I'm available on the 24th, or at least
Okay.
for my regular
Let's plan the
employer.
24th at
24th.
5:30,
5:30.
and I will do everything I can to keep it short.
24th of
Do you-
June
Yes.
at 5:30.
Do you people mind if I email you when the meetings are going on? Do you read your emails? I know Steve responds to me.
I don't get mine until I get home at night, so I get it later.
I can look at it.
Okay,
So that's fine. Email works.
all right.
Okay. At
Alright.
this point in time, if we have nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
Do we have a second?
One second.
All right. It is a vote. Good night. Go Bruins.
All right.